Where is Ziggy with you? Hello. Oh, the best dog in the whole world. She looks a bit knackered.
Yeah, she's been out in the woods. We've been rescuing dogs today. So she's a bit... Oh, hang on. There she is. There you are, darling.
Hello, Ziggy. Oh, you're a good dog. Hello.
Oh, hang on. Sorry. My thing's not tightened on. There you go.
Right, I couldn't find Ziggy, but I've put a little picture of a small dog there. Hello.
You
You're a good dog.
Say hello to your fans. He says, no, I'm tired. I'm not gonna.
To your many fans.
Right.
Right, so what were we going to talk about this week? Because I know we said something, but...
I thought we might talk a little bit about the different types of aggression.
Yeah. We need a positive topic as well.
I want to relate a little tale of my walk this morning with Ziggy.
Is it a nice tale though? I want to tell some nice stories.
No, it's not. It's not nasty. It's your mum and I, rocked up at the woods. We got out of the car. We got out of the car at the same time as a lady next to us. We're going to walk in the same direction.
Okay.
And she has a little dog, very lively, about 6 or 7 years old, on a long lead, not laying off the lead.
Right.
This dog comes across to me and says hello, and we have a little chat. And the lady's very nice, so's the dog.
Okay.
And she said, I can't let her off because she chases deer and things, and she runs away, and
right.
I lose her.
Oh, we've heard that before.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep, carry on.
All right, sorry, you got loads of background noise. So she then carries on. She said, "No, but I do let her off it in the enclosed bit, a bit further up. There's a big fenced area."
Yeah.
Okay. I said, "Great." I said, "Lovely, nice to see you." And so your mum and I finish our walk with Ziggy.
Sure.
We come back towards the car, and we meet up with 3 or 4 other people with their dogs.
Right.
We're having a chat. And they're doing this bit of socialization, which is lovely. And then suddenly this dog comes shooting into the pack from nowhere.
Okay.
And and we're not far from the road. So I look around, no owner anywhere, nowhere to be seen, nobody calling or whistling, nothing. So I get the dog and I put it on my lead, and I walk back to the enclosed area, which is a long way up the path. And because I know what's happened here, this dog's got underneath the fence and has come to hear the noise. There's dog and he wants to get involved, you know. Mm-hmm. So I get there, and there's the lady. She's talking to somebody else. Doesn't see me coming. And so I don't know, this has happened before a number of times, and she could be hours gone. And I just walk up and say, I believe this belongs to you. And she's a lovely little dog. Mm. And then she finds out what I do. Then we walk back towards where your mother is with the other dogs. Again, quite a long walk away. And I'm chatting to her. So the first thing she says to me, when you told me what you did way back there, I almost said to you, I've only just rescued this dog because I'm a bit embarrassed by what we have to do with her. Mm. And I said to her, well, here's the thing. And I said, I can help you with this dog. It just needs better recall training, and we can do that. And she said, I'm just very embarrassed by it and very embarrassed to ask because I lose her and she runs away. And it clearly happened a good few times. Mm. And she was a lady of similar age to me, I think. And she was clearly embarrassed. And I said to her, well, you don't need to be embarrassed. And just be aware that people like me, hopefully, don't judge you. I certainly don't.
Yeah.
And I said, we know what we know. And I've got some skills I can pass on to you to help you. So she took my card and she thanked me very much. And she'll no doubt call me and I'll be able to help her. But here's the thing. This is what I want to get across to people in general, in dog owners in particular, obviously, is you don't. There's no way you can know everything. I don't know everything. I've studied a bit, so I know quite a bit more about dogs than some people. So I can help. But there's no need at all to feel embarrassed that you don't know everything about your dog, and that someone like me is going to tell you what a terrible owner you are, and you've not done this and you've not done that.
Yeah.
You know, and so really, if you've got a problem, this dog has been doing this for 5 or 6 years. So that makes it harder for people like me to affect a change, but it doesn't make it impossible. It just takes a bit more time.
Yeah.
So the point I'm trying to make is never feel embarrassed, and don't even feel embarrassed to ask somebody who is qualified or understands about your dog that they can help you. Because if they're already decent type of person, they won't be judging you. They'll be saying, yeah, I can help.
Mm.
Anyway, that's all I want to say about
Okay, good. That's a good story. I like it. It's good that you're helping other geriatrics.
that. Well, we all need it, you know. We all need it, mate. You know, but I see that a lot. Similar iterations of a similar tale, really, and it always saddens me a little bit because a lot of the owners I meet that are having problems, they first of all are embarrassed and they're worried about asking advice because of what they think people might think of them. You know, so they just keep on doing what they're doing.
It's sad, really, because actually you're more likely to end up having people rolling their eyes at you or whatever if you don't take some steps to deal with it. If you've got a dog who has some issues, really, you're just prolonging trouble and embarrassment for yourself if you do have a dog with issues, if you don't deal with it.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And oddly, the people this lady was talking to when I approached were a couple that I've just done a video conference with to help them with their dog. You know, it's always easy, you know, and up I rock with her dog, who funnily enough, had been pulling really badly on the lead when she was with her owner. And after I walked her, to go back to where the owner was, it was probably about 600,000 yards, maybe not even that much. But by the time we got there, this dog was walking beautifully on the lead. Mm. You know, but hey, there you go.
Well, it's about intention, which we talked about before. Talk about doing video consultations.
Okay.
How you do that, because that could be useful.
Right. Well, normally, I would on my website is a very long form, about 14 pages worth of it, and that's designed to get as much information about the dog, its situation, its owners before I get to them. So I've got a bit of an idea.
Hang on, let me just give you a bit of marketing advice, Dad.
Yeah.
Instead of calling it a long form, say, I have a comprehensive form to help me get a real sense of your needs.
Yeah, well, that's what he said. What he said. Yeah. So once they've done that, then I'd normally evaluate it, and I'd have a pretty good idea what the problem may or may not be. But really, I like to see the dogs in person. I like to meet the people in person. So I normally go and visit them for a couple of hours at home. So obviously, in the current state of affairs, you can't be doing that. So I've set up video conferencing via my website. So you can book an online video call with me. I do it via Instagram or Skype or whatever way is best for the people who want to talk with me. So I still get the form filled in. I can still evaluate it. I can then be booked for a couple hours, and I spend up to a good couple hours usually talking about the dogs and teaching people what they need to be doing. And then I back that up by sending them lots of written homework, if you like. And also the people that video conference with me, they can also, with modern technology and our phones, take a video or two showing me what they perceive to be the problem with their dog that I might help with.
Great.
Yeah, it works. I've done it 2 or 3 times so far, and the people I've done it with, they've found it to be very good. And as I say, it's not 100% as good as being in person, but it's not far off.
Yeah, and you charge a slightly different rate for
Yeah.
virtual consultations as well.
When I visit people at home, I have to charge a little bit of mileage, and I charge £100 for a 2-hour consultation. Online, I'm not that back to £80, which I
But
think.
the other great thing about the online consultations, though, and which can continue after this situation comes to an end, is
Yeah.
we've got people on here, obviously, who watch either live or after the fact. And by the way, these videos now go up on YouTube. So, what's your YouTube, Dad?
That's a good question. Hang on. I will be putting them up on my page as well.
Yeah, but I mean, people are more likely to go to the YouTube, and it's easier for them to save them and stuff there.
Yeah.
So
My YouTube is. Oh, hang on. Okay. Good job. I've got my computer on.
yeah,
I was just about to give you my Instagram. Diddly doodah.
yeah, no, we're on that. But
Yeah, my YouTube channel, which is what you want, is the Canine Behavior. Oh, where do I find the actual title of my channel, Mike?
I just found it now. I think it's just the Canine. If you search the Canine Behaviourist,
Yeah.
But that's only got 2 videos. Have you got one with more videos on it?
Yeah, there's 3. I've got 1, 2, and 3 so far.
Oh, maybe you have an old channel then that's also called the Canine Behaviourist.
Yeah, I think you are. I'm just trying to see where would I find.
Hello, Charlie Likes. Thank you for joining us. If anyone's got any questions, put them in the comments.
Yeah, keep chatting to me, and I will come up with the answer for that.
Yeah, I don't know. You seem to have got sort of an old one that you might want to get relogged into at some point. But
yeah.
Anyway,
but again, if you go on to my wishebsite anyway, if you go onto my website,
yeah, repeat the address again.
It's www.thecaninebehaviourist, and it's the English spelling of behaviourist.co.uk, and on the menu bar on the right, when you open it up, there's a link to my YouTube directly.
Yeah, that's great. So the point I'm making anyway is that if you're either someone who watches these shows live or watches them on or catches up or is catching up on this on YouTube, doesn't matter where you are in the world, that can do video consultation, and that can be really valuable, because ultimately what anyone is paying for is the time and the advice. The actual being there physically present is good, but it's it's not totally. You can do it without it, is the point. So
yeah, absolutely. So I don't know if you're in Manchester, you need my help. I'm probably not going to come all the way up to Manchester, but I can still do an online call with you, and
people are seeing the benefits of those. So advert over. If you've got any questions or things that are happening with your dog at the moment that you've got a query about, put them in the chat. That we will always answer them. Otherwise, we sort of just barrel on with what we're thinking about.
I'm a bit confused in my YouTube. I seem to have 2 YouTube channels here, which is a bit odd.
Well, yeah, let's sort that out off. Live, but I'm sure there's a way of sorting that out.
Yeah.
So, I guess we wanted to talk a bit about aggression. That's but also we were going to talk a bit about the commands that you should teach any dog as well. That was the other thing that we were going to talk about. So,
yeah.
So let's cover the aggression, and then we'll talk about. And then we can talk about commands as our kind of closing topic for this week's show.
Okay. Well, aggression is quite interesting. I've got my text open in front of me here because there are many of them. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 different types of aggression that can be diagnosed in your animals. Okay.
Is there any way you can sum them up and say a sentence per each? And I know that's going to be simplifying.
No. That's exactly what I intend to do.
Yeah.
I'll go through them, and the bottom line is your dog can be helped with pretty much all of them bar one. So maternal aggression speaks for itself. You'll only see this in a pregnant canine or a canine that has puppies. Play aggression, where dogs can be playing and they can tip across into a more aggressive stance. So you have to be aware of that. Fear aggression, well, that's a very common one. That's where your dog is either scared of strangers, scared of other dogs, people, whatever it is, and they react in a aggressive manner. I like to view aggression actually as it sounds like semantics, but we're talking about aggressive behavior, aggressive responses. And I don't believe that necessarily means your dog is actually aggressive per se, but they react in a certain way to a certain situation, then they get labeled as an aggressive dog. They are reacting aggressively to certain things. So another one's pain, quite a classic one. So your young child twists your dog's ear and your dog reacts in an aggressive manner because it's in pain. Okay, very common. Territorial aggression. Territorial aggression is very easy. Territory can be a bit of a moving feast, if you like. So your territory for your dog could be its garden, could be its house, could be you, it could be your car. And the simple way to determine territorial aggression is when someone approaches the dog's territory, the dog reacts in an aggressive manner. As that threat moves away, the dog relaxes and stops being aggressive. That's quite an easy one to suss out. Protective aggression, that can be protecting people, protecting its home, protecting its resources, but predominantly its owner, you'll find this with. Inter-dog aggression, that speaks for itself. That's two dogs going at each other, more often than not males, but females can suffer as well. Very nice, Mike. Redirected aggression, that's where, here's an example, you wade in to try and stop two dogs fighting, you end up getting bitten. Okay, right. That's redirected aggression. Food related speaks for itself. You know, you mess around with the dog while it's eating its food, it can react aggressively to you. Lots of people do it, and lots of people learn the hard way. Possessive aggression, that can be sort of linked with dominance aggression a little bit. Possessive is when a dog has a resource. That resource might be food, it might be a toy, it might be a blanket, it could be anything that your dog considers to be of high value to it. You can have aggression can rear its head there. Predatory aggression, that makes sense. That's where a dog actually targets something. You'll see it sometimes in greyhounds, in all sorts of
or when Tess took down the rabbit.
Yeah, that's predatory aggression. Dominance aggression is again, it's where the dog is either trying to dominate an individual, another dog, to enforce its hierarchy in its own mind, or it's dominant from the point of view that it has a resource and it's going to make sure no one else goes near it.
Right.
There's a bit of an overlap there between possessive and dominant. And the last one is idiopathic aggression. There's a syndrome called Springer Spaniel rage syndrome. Now, idiopathic means with no known etiology of cause.
Right.
Okay. So a dog can literally fly into a rage, and nothing's preempted it. And that's a very dangerous form of aggression. All the other ones you can do something about in various ways. But idiopathic aggression, that's very, very hard to deal with because we don't know what causes it.
Right.
And often dogs suffering with idiopathic aggression are either kept away from anything or everything, or they're euthanized. So but it's a fairly rare thing.
I was about to say it's not really common, is it? So
no, it's not. But it's there, and it's often idiopathic aggression is often diagnosed incorrectly, and it's diagnosed as dominant aggression. You know, it's very interesting. So that's basically all of the aggression. As I say, besides idiopathic, they're all treatable. A genuinely aggressive dog isn't. You can't really cure them of aggression, if that's the right term.
Mm.
What you do is you control it, and a lot of it's to do with recognizing the situations that put them into the red zone, if you like.
Okay.
And how to manage those situations. So if you know a dog is upset by something obvious and you can reproduce it, well, common sense says you don't put your dog in that situation.
Yes.
It's relatively simple, really. But there are. That's aggression. It's a big
But
subject.
obviously, there's some types of aggression where you've got to deal with it because you can't remove. If you want a dog to go out in the world, you can't remove that thing. So if they're aggressive around other dogs, then you have to address that because you can't keep a dog healthy and happy without it going out in the world.
No, you're right, Mike. And in all of these things, you can do it. I mean, when we first got Barney was a rescued Dalmatian we've mentioned before in these, and he was about 8 when we got him, and he'd been kept in a home where he literally just went to the cafe around the corner, had meat pie and chips, and that was it. And he never met any dogs. So when we first got him, he would have a go at any dog that moved. So
Right.
you would instantly label him as an aggressive dog. He wasn't an aggressive dog. He was more a fearful dog and a dog that just didn't understand what other dogs were and how to deal with other dogs. So we had to teach Barney that every dog he saw wasn't a threat. And that's the thing you've got to understand about a lot of these aggressions. Dogs see things as threats to them or to their owners, and they're perceived threats. So they're not real threats. They're perceived by the dog. So a stranger, like another person, another dog, they threaten this dog, and his response, if he can't run away, is going to be an aggressive response.
Mm.
And Barney was like that. He'd have a go at anything that was moving virtually. But by gently introducing him to dogs in the right manner, he got over that, and he became a very sociable dog. But again, that took time because he had 8 years of not being around other dogs.
Yeah, and with him, it involved using a muzzle for a while he was out.
Yeah, let me talk about muzzles. Let me just have a quick slurp. Muzzles are misunderstood by people.
Yeah.
A dog hasn't got a muzzle because it's vicious or aggressive most of the time. The best way to view a muzzle is it's a protection device. Okay, it's a protection device to stop a dog biting us because the dog might make a mistake because it's in a situation where it feels it needs to be aggressive, so it's going to try and bite somebody. Okay, so we shouldn't look at dogs with muzzles on and immediately think, God, that's an aggressive dog, that's terrible and whatever. The dog has the muzzle while it's being adjusted. Of course, there are exceptions. For instance, rescue greyhounds that have been racers, they have a very strong prey drive, which is part of their type of dog. So you would sensibly take a greyhound out and put a muzzle on. I don't agree with everybody that keeps greyhounds on the leash all the time. You can teach a greyhound recall, but it's a protective thing. So the muzzle in this case is to prevent or help that greyhound not to make a mistake. So it'll see a small dog maybe and it'll go chasing it, and it's going to have a go at it because it thinks it's a rabbit or a hare.
Yeah, but if it's got the muzzle on, it can't do anything.
No. So it's a protective thing, and it's not a bad thing. Certainly when I'm dealing with some aggressive dogs initially, I'll usually get a muzzle on the dog, and it just protects the dog as well from making a mistake. And once they've settled down, Barney had a muzzle on, probably too long actually. I hadn't trained then. I was just using common sense. So he had a muzzle on for 3 or 4 months. But he was a big, powerful dog, and he could do some damage.
Yeah.
So I wasn't going to risk that, either people or animals. So it's a safety thing, really. And
Yeah.
once a dog's been trained with it and has got over its particular fear or its particular problem, you can usually get rid of the muzzle. You can usually get rid of it.
And what I would say about this comes back to something we talked about in an earlier show. I can't. It may not be a show that we've saved, but we talked about this false notion that that there are aggressive breeds of dog, and that ties into this a little bit. Like, it's just a mistake to think that there are breeds that are naturally aggressive.
No,
It's just not true.
No, it is true, Mike. Actually, I wouldn't agree
No,
with you.
but what? No, wait. What I mean is, no, there are some dogs that are, but what I'm saying is that the notion that the dogs under the Dangerous Dogs Act that have been true, there are some breeds that are, such as like Asian fighting dogs are pretty bred for aggression, but the ones that get focused on a lot, say pit bulls, pit bull terriers, Staffordshire bull terriers, those dogs, they're not bad dogs. You can just train them to be bad dogs. That's what people do.
Yeah, the thing is, Mike, you can train any dog to be a bad dog, but there are certain dogs that we should not be keeping. I'll give you one good example.
Well, no, I just said, like, say the Asian fighting dogs.
Well, let me just give you another one, and
Yeah.
you do see a few of these. The Akita.
That's an Asian fighting dog.
That's a Japanese fighting dog, the Akita.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's an Asian fighting dog.
And you shouldn't actually let those dogs off lead anywhere, because it's so strongly bred in them. They can just turn on a sixpence, and so dogs like that, we shouldn't really be breeding, and we shouldn't really be getting them as pets. I don't care how many people say, well, I've had Akitas, I know what I'm doing. Well, you might know what you're doing, but you're still risking bringing a dog in that's actually been bred for centuries to do one thing and one thing only. Yeah. So anyway, yeah.
The thing I find with that, this is a very side point, but if say now we don't like this, right? Getting dogs or having a dog because you like a particular type of look of the dog, right?
Yeah.
But if you're someone who likes what Akitas look like, the Shiba Inu exists, right? Which looks almost exactly like an Akita, but Shiba Inus are very docile, friendly dogs, right? So if your thing is you like dogs that look like that, there is a type of dog that looks almost exactly like an Akita, but has a lovely demeanor.
Well, you go for that one then, don't you?
Yeah, because the Shiba Inu looks almost exactly like an Akita.
Right, we're talking common sense here, but unfortunately we know, and most people know, there's an awful lot of people not with common sense.
And in fact, I just checked, because I wanted to check that I was right, so I looked up the Wikipedia, and on the Wikipedia page for the Shiba Inu, which my friend Martin has always had Shiba Inus and loves them, it says, it looks similar to and often mistaken for other Japanese dog breeds like the Akita Inu or the Hokkaido. So, you know.
Yeah.
You know, do your research.
So, well, yeah, that's what I was about to say. Before you get a dog, research it. But, you know, that's common sense for me. And most people do it, and they'll still, even with as much advice in the world, as much research you can give them, they'll still often turn around and say, well, I'm going to have one of those. You know.
Well, I think that's we've covered a couple of good topics in this week's show. So the takeaways from this are, let's see, what have we talked about? We talked about aggression, and I guess the takeaway there is almost all types of aggression can be solved, apart from one which is quite rare.
No, not necessarily. Yes, sometimes solved,
or ameliorated,
or controlled.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm using the word solved in a kind of broad church way there. You can find ways where your dog is going to be okay and you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
And, you know, and then it goes back to the other lesson which we had from this, which is it's better not to be embarrassed by a problem you're having with your dog. Go ask for help. It's going to make your life easier, and you're going to have less embarrassment in your life if you ask for help.
Correct.
What else did we cover today? We covered something else, I feel like. Was there a third thing? I think there was, but I can't remember what it was.
How many people have we joined? There are people still joining here, Mike. I don't know if you want to.
I know we've had people come in and out. Hello. Yes. So, yes, we talked about aggression today. We've talked about, as we always end up talking about, choosing the right dog for you, doing your research. And I think that's good.
We talked about video conferencing and stuff like that as well.
Yeah, we talked about that as well. So, you know, it is possible to get help and assistance even now. And check out Dad's website, which is the Canine Behaviourist, spelt the English way, where you can get help. And also, you've got some good Q&As there that you've been working on.
Yeah, we could do with some more. I've got a Q&A page on there. And there's a database behind that. So if people want to ask questions directly, they can stick a question in there. And I'll try and answer them directly on there as best I can. But also, if you ask questions there, Mick and I can probably raise them here for the wider audience as well.
Yeah, and I think the other thing we'll try and do, Dad, is get you a bit more active on Twitter, because I'm seeing people on Twitter having questions or wanting to, or like, if we get you engaging a bit more on Twitter on around the dog stuff, I think there's quite a few people on there who probably would come and ask questions on the show if we engage them a bit more on Twitter. So
Right.
I think that's good. But yeah, as we said previously, we're putting these videos up on YouTube as well. So if you've come in later this week, we normally do sort of half an hour, 45 minutes, just try and keep it fairly concise for YouTube. Do go back and look. I think how many have we put up now? We've got a couple up on there, haven't we?
There's three up on YouTube at the moment. And you got them on Instagram, obviously.
Yeah, so this will be episode 4 that we've saved. We had a pilot episode which we weren't able to keep, but
and I'll also be putting them on my Facebook page as well.
Yeah,
on the Canine Facebook, so you can access these from a number of ways, really. But they all go up to YouTube, and the simplest way, again, go via my website. That'll take you to the correct.
And the website is
thecaninebehaviourist.co.uk.
Yeah, so that's cool. I think next week it would be good to talk about getting a dog if you already have a dog. So that's what we'll talk about next week.
Did we not talk about that the other week?
No, we didn't. We talked about getting a rescue dog, and then you said, I think we should talk about when you've got an existing dog and you're introducing a new dog to the home. And I said, let's do another episode on that, because it's a whole thing in its own right. So we'll talk about that next week, introducing the dog into a home where there's already a dog, which we've done a few times, and it's gone pretty well most times. Yeah.
We've had minor issues, but nothing major.
No, there's always a bit of a learning curve with it. But thank you to everybody who's tuned in. We've had about 10 people this week come in and out. But I do know that people are coming and watching the video on Instagram later. And that's the thing. I'm not too worried about the live viewers, in the sense of, I love it, people who come and watch live, but I know we've got an audience who are watching these after the fact as well.
Certainly the people that see these videos, feel free to ask us questions, because we will answer them. We will do our best to cover the subjects you're interested in, if they're within my bailiwick.
Yeah, we've had it. Well, we've done that a couple of times already, and the people whose questions we've answered have said that that's been very helpful. So we'd love to do more of that, and I'll be trying to push to get more questions via Twitter, so that we've got questions for the show.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay. Well, thank you again, everyone, for tuning in. I am at Broken Bottle Boy on both Twitter and Instagram. You know that because you're here via my Instagram, and Dad is on Twitter,
C Behaviourist,
and he is on Instagram, the Canine Behaviourist, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, the underscore Canine Behaviourist. So do follow him. Follow me if you're not following me. And thank you very much for tuning in again.
Okay. Cheers, everybody. Bye for now.